welcome to our week 3 episode for the Carrabba's Classic League. Is it we call it week 3 episode or week 2 episode? Yeah, week
Mm,
3 episode.
yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Uh
we're talking about week two though. Oh, but we do talk about week three.
yeah.
No.
So, here's the episode between week 2 and week 3. We are joined by your commissioner, Dad Shaw, whose new name is what?
Still living La Porta Loca.
Livin' Laporta Loca. And the highest scorer of the week, none other than me, the living legend of the league. So, we got quite a few things that we're going to discuss this week. Some interesting facts that Bradshaw and I have kind of heard today and through the week, and maybe even through the season. We're going to go over some league injuries, notes, trades. We're going to introduce the All Waiver Wire team. Looking forward to that. And of course, we're going to have a short clip of the new Bengals Stadium. If you guys haven't seen that yet, $1.2 billion stadium. It's a little bit of a hype video for the Bengals, but it does show their stadium, which I think looks pretty cool. So you're welcome, White Devil. But for majority of the clip, I'm sorry, everyone. But anyway, jumping into it. So one of the things I wanted to discuss with you, Bradshaw, is I wanted you to come up with one thing that so far this year. Now, again, we're not going full Kobe, but one thing so far this year that it looks like you have called or gotten right, and one thing that you got completely wrong or so far looks like a complete bungle. Um, and one of the things that I'm going to kudos myself on, which the airways was split half and half, but I'm on the right half so far if he keeps his legs going. One of the things I feel like I got right was J.K. Dobbins taking over that L.A. Chargers backfield. Got him in both leagues. Reached for him because I wanted him, but looks like so far so good. Hopefully that continues. What's one of the things you've gotten right?
Nothing, man. I'm 0-2. Every decision I made has been incorrect. So, no. I think we discussed it a little bit last week, but my hot take on the Detroit wide receiver one, still looking pretty solid. I got JMO at wide receiver 7. Amon-Ra at wide receiver 21. You'll notice last week that Detroit force-fed the ball to Amon-Ra.
Mhm.
Two things happened. One, they lost, and two, he got hurt. So hopefully they see what I see and realize that an even distribution the rest of the year is the way to go, and in which case, JMO's the guy. The other thing I got right, I know you said one. The other thing
Uh-huh.
I got right, I just want to say this: Drake London is the wide receiver 39.
I have receiver 39. So I disagree with both those takes. I don't think London's going to go there, but we're actually going to touch on that a little bit later in the episode. I want to touch on the JMO thing. When he first came to the league, high expectations. He has, missed some time for this reason or that reason. So not discounting the guy's talent. I think he is a fantastic talent. I just don't think that he's going to overtake Amon-Ra. So I disagree with you.
No
But
bias.
what's that?
You gotta when you have a take like that, you gotta say, I have him on my team. Like that's social media etiquette.
Yeah. Okay. So I got
Right.
Amon Ra on my team. I don't think
Now
JMO
we
is going to overtake him.
now we know.
And last year, in another league that I was in, I actually told the person to pick him up when he was coming back. And I don't know how, but I completely forgot about Jameson Williams. Even last year, I was like, hey, he's coming back. He's going to be great. And he didn't, unfortunately. And then here he is this year. So kudos on getting him. He was not even on my radar, which is quite sad for how much I listen to stuff. But the chatter on JMO is absolutely fantastic. It's almost sickening. All right, so one thing that we've gotten completely wrong, and I was having a discussion with JLK the other day about this. What I thought the New Orleans offense was going to look like. I thought they were going to be once more, not Carolina, but seeing what they have done the first 2 weeks of the season has really been wow. Quite fun to, I would say watch, but I haven't watched their games. Their highlights have been really fun to see. But completely whiffed on all of their offense. I didn't want any pieces, and now I'd like to have a couple of pieces. So, what's one thing you got wrong? Or
No,
if
that's
you have any comments?
no, that's a good segue. That's one of my interesting things is and we'll talk about it now since we're here, but New Orleans has scored on every single one of Derek Carr's drives.
Yeah,
Every single
that
one.
is stupid.
That is nuts. Um, Wrong. Again, a little biased. I'll stick with the Lions. Laporta, I can't find a target in that offense to save my life, but again, I think that'll change as teams start to uh, play them a little differently, or hopefully the OC recognizes that they have an all-pro that's running through the middle of the field open. But unbiased, I guess unbiased, and along the same lines, I really thought Canales leaving Tampa was going to leave Baker in shambles. And again, watching that Tampa Detroit game, that was the Baker that Cleveland rallied behind. That guy was calling his own number, had like a 20-yard scramble for a touchdown, popping up after big hits. Like you just root for the guy. I mean, I root for the guy. I guess that could turn some people off, but
I'm definitely rooting for him. Good
I
for him.
really thought he was a system quarterback. I avoided Evans and Godwin, and obviously Baker was not a draftable quarterback. But yeah, he's just that game alone and what he did to Washington in week one. Of course, it's Washington, but still, like he's showing out that he's not a system guy. And I think he's settling in, is finding his stride. So fun to root for. All the Browns fans that are watching, which is probably just me when I watch this video to see what I can do better next time. I'll be happy with that take.
Yeah. It's funny you bring up Canales and how you thought it was going to affect Baker negatively. I thought Canales going to Carolina was going to positively affect Bryce Young. I know we only said one wrong, but so far, big whiffa. And it is a
That,
little early.
that might be
Um,
one of the biggest whiffs in the NFL history. Not by you, but by Carolina in general.
Agreed. And we won't stay on this too long, but what's really frustrating to me, or what annoys me very much, is I don't know how much looking online that you've seen about the Bryce Young benching and all that kind of stuff, but before he was benched through 2 games, probably up until Monday, everybody's calling like this guy is trash, bust, just everywhere. Sit him down. Let's do something else. Trade him. Do something. Then it's announced that he's benched. And now everybody's coming to the defense of Bryce Young and is just hating on the Carolina Panthers. Now, I do think they got some problems. They need to just fully scrap everything probably and just start over from scratch. But uh, they don't have a good product on the field. Now, it may not, it's probably not all Bryce Young. And I don't think Andy Dalton or the Red Rifle is going to save the day. I don't think that he is. But I can pretty much guarantee you there's going to be some touchdowns. There's still going to be a lot of interceptions. There's going to be some yards. There's going to be some drives. And there's going to be some touchdowns. And they're not going to be, I don't think, so hard to watch. So it just annoys me that everybody coming forward, but this poor kid, this poor this, it's Carolina's fault, this and that and the other. You brought in Dave Canales, who, saved Baker Mayfield's career, so they say. And who was the other
Turn
quarterback
Gino,
that he worked with?
turn Gino around in Seattle too.
Yeah,
Made
exactly.
him
So,
starter.
yeah, it's a little bit early. I mean, maybe he still will turn him around later down the road, excuse me. But I need Andy to stay in there until Brian gets good, because I have Deontay Johnson on both my fantasy teams, so I'm looking forward to that to be
Full disclosure, way to go.
full
Yeah. Last,
disclosure.
last
I
point on
learned.
last point on Carolina. I know it's a cop out to blame leadership, but ownership of that team, even going
Yeah.
in, people were like, there's no way it's going to be successful. They couldn't even get a coach. Canales, again, had the resume, high hopes, but I don't think it's him, and I don't think it's Bryce either. But
Yeah.
I bet they wish they chose the Ohio State product instead of the Alabama product. And
Oh
I'll leave.
yeah. Somebody best be fired for that. All right, let's keep it rolling here. An interesting fact that I wanted to share with you today, and I wanted to ask you because you'll probably get it right. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. One of the shows that I watched earlier this afternoon had a really cool fact that, and I'll just ask you, do you know which NFL team has the highest rushing right now? I know it's only 2 weeks. The highest rushing right now.
So through 2 games, most rushing yards. That's what you're
Most
saying.
rushing. Mm-hmm.
So let's see. Two
Or the
things.
highest rushing percentage.
We can't just change the
I'm,
game
I'm,
now.
all right, it's a rushing percentage. I don't quite think it's yardage. Sorry.
All right. So one, the answer is Green Bay.
Yeah.
Two, I saw um I watched most of the games this weekend. We had a nice little date day out at Buffalo Wild Wings, and the Indy Green Bay game was on next to the Cleveland Jacksonville game.
Mhm.
And every time I looked over, Green Bay's busting a run, whether it's
That's
Jacobs,
it.
whether well, it was just like up and down the field. Now the score didn't really reflect it because again, what I got, I was like, man, they're running all over them. But impress as impressive as it was to get that question right, you sent me your notes before, and that's how I knew.
Okay. So got you. That's right. I sent put you GB. But here's the part that's really the kicker. Do you know who's the worst?
Are we talking about percentage or are
Number
we talking
32.
about yards
Yes.
of run percent?
Hmm.
Ooh, I'm gonna guess. I'm not gonna guess the team because that's gonna pigeonhole me, but I am gonna guess AFC
No,
North.
guess the team. It is not.
No?
And I'm going to give you a hint.
Do
Who's
I
the
have
running
three?
back for Green Bay?
Josh Jacobs,
Yep. Where'd he come from?
Oakland.
The Las Vegas Raiders are the worst. Isn't that something? The number one is Green Bay, where Josh Jacobs is, and the worst is the team that he left. I just thought that was an interesting fact.
Hmm.
Very interesting.
JOK is not gonna start Zamir White this week. Is that what you're saying?
No, this might be the only week that he can start Zamir White and it be successful.
I mean, he has no other running back option that's worth a damn, but he's still on the bench. But
Ooh, ouchies. All right, let's jump into
yeah.
our next segment, the All Waiver Wire team. Okay, so what is the All Waiver Wire team, Bradshaw?
Well, as someone who scored the most points in the league, you were talking to me about how the league is trash and someone like you could just go to the waiver wire and pick up a team that could beat everybody. And so I challenged you on it. I was like, come on now. I know you woke up and you chose violence with your background and your little jersey and all the flair that you like to rub it in, although I didn't see that after a 70-point week. But anyway, you know, headphones and hotel room. But anyway, the thought was there's a team on the waiver wire. Let's see the best team and see who they could beat, who could they have beaten this week. So
So I didn't say 75% of what you just said, but it sounded good. So I did that task and I went and looked at the waiver wire prior to Sunday to see what somebody could have put together. And here's what we got: Derek Carr, 28.25 points, Quentin Johnston, 22 points, Alec Pierce, 16.6 points. Now, neither one of those two are no longer free agents.
they're all on
Um,
Pete's team.
Quentin Johnston, you might have something there. I don't think there's going to be a lot of passing going on in that team, but Alec Pierce, keep on chasing those points. Free agent still, Eric Gray. He plays for the New York Giants, in case you didn't know who that was, 11.4 points. Antonio Gibson, Ramondre Stevens back up, 11.3. He's still a free agent. Go ahead. Hunter Henry on White Devil Billy's team. And Justin actually gave, made fun of me the other day. He's like, "Oh, you're a Hunter Henry truther." I was like, "I've always liked the guy. I think he's talented. I think he's just always in a bad situation. If he wasn't on White Devils, he probably has a chance to be on my team." Uh, Darnell Dontravius Mooney, from the Atlanta Falcons, 17.8 points in the flex. I don't have a kicker. I forgot to get a kicker. I just realized that. And the Buffalo defense, 21 points for a total of 152.35 points.
So there was a kicker from Washington, scored 21 points, all by field goals. Amazing.
So
And
throw it on there, 173.
there you go. And yeah, so good call. And a fun fact about Eric Gray, he had 0 rushes and 0 catches, but he did have 147
Return yards.
return yards.
Yep.
So, Justin, I know your running back room is trash. Start picking up some kick returners, and maybe you can be competitive.
So, yes, in case you were wondering, if you didn't look through the league, 170 points would have beaten everyone in the league,
But
except me. All right.
oh,
So, moving on to league news, injuries. and trades. And to start it off, I have to bring this up first. I got to tell you about how this happened. So, Bradshaw, you sent the text message about a trade between you and Lisa on Monday afternoon. Ayuk for Pittman, excuse me. Pittman for Ayuk. And I was like, well, this is kind of lopsided, but okay, whatever. Boom, let it go. And then thought, wow, this is with Lisa. This is collusion. But y'all are in the same house. Y'all get to talk back and forth about it. So it's not like you're picking up the phone and negotiating. You're in the same house. You talk about it. Okay. And then 1 hour later, the news comes out about Deebo Samuel being out for potentially a couple of weeks. My first thought was, this guy is a genius. I want to know where he got this news so early, because I like to pride myself in that I get news quite early because I have so many subscriptions of things, and I always want to know. I wanted to know where you got this news. And then you tell me that we've been talking about this weekend. I had no idea this was happening. So,
and you believed it. And you believed it.
I did. Because, if you're going to lie to me, that's on you. You have to answer for that, buddy. So what did you have to give up to get this trade? Clearly it wasn't just straight up Pittman Ayuk. There's something in the back that you had to do for this. Or does she really want Pittman?
So the story goes, as I alluded to, we were out watching all the games. Lisa's team, Minnesota, played San Francisco. At this point, because, we're 2 weeks into the season, she's already been through the draft. She still doesn't know who's on her team. She realizes
she has Kittle.
She has Kittle. She has the San Francisco kicker, the San Francisco defense, and Brandon Ayuk. And so she's appalled. She hates this fact. And I'm like, well, being the loving, supportive husband that I am, I'll take Ayuk from you. And being the sneaky fantasy football player that I am, I offered Michael Pittman. And of course, that solved Lisa's problem. And I made a joke about the Josh Gordon trade from 2012. I'm like, as soon as you get this guy on your team, he's going to blow up. And she's like, yeah, he will.
Yeah. So, Lisa, please take note that anytime you are wanting to make a trade to venture outside of your house, okay, because there are a lot of other players and 10 other teams that would probably be willing to make a trade with you. But let's get into the injuries here and some of the news. So obviously Tua's headed to the IR. Everybody's gotten that news. Cooper Kupp, no IR for him. He could be back in less than 4 weeks. If anybody's interested, talk to old JLK, trading for a wide receiver. He's currently rolling with CeeDee Lamb and Drake London at wide receiver, and James Conner and a bunch of bums at running back. So good luck on getting something from there. Deebo Samuel is out for a couple of weeks, as we just discussed, strained right calf. If you're interested in a replacement there, Pete Puff, that's his wide receiver one. His team is open to trades beginning Tuesday morning because he is currently playing me this week. So do not reach out to Pete Puff until Tuesday morning for any trades. Tajay Spears did not participate with an ankle injury, and he wasn't starting anyway, so who cares? Marshawn Lloyd, you know who that is. He already missed week 1, but now he is on injured reserve with a hamstring. Now, before you go running to pick up Josh Jacobs' other running back, the backup running back, let me first tell you who it is. It's Emmanuel Wilson. Okay? If you just learned who this other Green Bay running back is, well, you're not too late. Or you're too late, excuse me. Mike picked him up today. So you may be asking yourself, who could he have dropped to pick him up? Well, I'm glad you asked. He dropped Dameon Pierce, another injured running back for the Texans that wasn't going to start this week anyway. Cam Akers is the other one. But speaking of the Texans running back, Joe Mixon avoids serious injury. If you are watching Sunday Night Football, that did not look very good. But he's currently day-to-day and didn't participate in training, or excuse me, in practice today either. So unfortunately, before old Hunter could pick up the actual backup, Cam Akers, but Hurt Billy already snaked him from him. So, it is what it is. So tough luck,
Typical.
Hunter, or should I say, get your butker back in the kitchen. Hunter only has Chase Brown and Braylon Allen on his bench. So if anybody wants to help out the number one team by offering a trade for one of his wide receivers, be my guest. Scratch that. He doesn't have any wide receivers to spare either, unless you want Keon Coleman, who might be a good pickup in week 1 of next year. I'm kidding. He could be a good pickup by week 8, just not week 3. Evan Ingram, speaking of Hunter, messes up his hamstring in pregame warmups and can miss a few weeks. Hunter may need to trade for a tight end because he did pick up Mike Gesicki, who looks like a good pickup until T. Higgins comes back. Again, he's on my team, so that could be this week. So Gesicki's ship may have already sailed or already took that midnight train to Georgia. Isaiah Pacheco goes on injured reserve, and the race has begun for the backups. Carson Steele goes to Butthurt Billy. Samaje Perine goes to JLK, and Kareem Hunt, before his signing, also goes to JLK. So we're going to pause right there. What do you think of that? What do you think of that backfield? Is the potential backup not even on that team right now? Or do you think it's one of these guys?
No, I think they're super high on Carson Steele. Number one, he's a white guy, and a white guy running back is always going to go very high. And he's the Pacheco story, right? Like undrafted free agent, comes into camp, kicks everybody's butt. I think the Kansas City Chiefs fan in our league knew that, picked up the right guy. And then the scramble for sloppy seconds, JLK picked up whatever he could. And I'm entertained that he wasted 2 roster spots on it. But yeah, I think it's Steele the whole time. That dude's gonna power.
Yes, I do think Steele is a power back. I don't know that he's going to be everything that Kansas City is going to need. I don't know. But I also don't blame Justin in picking up those lottery tickets. It's the same as late round drafts. They're lottery tickets because we don't know what's going to happen. What I do think is going to happen is Kansas City is finally going to start throwing the ball more. I do think that's going to happen. I don't think Carson's going to be able to just come in and just ground and pound and pound. Now, if he does, that's going to be impressive, but I just don't see it. But we'll see. Finishing up these injuries, A.J. Brown is out a couple of weeks with his own hamstring injury. Butthurt Billy could be looking for a wide receiver trade to fill his flex spot since Keenan Allen is still questionable as well. Taysom Hill's out with a chest injury. I know. You don't care. Just putting him in there in case White Devil Billy's watching because he was in his lineup last week. Bradshaw, did I miss any injuries or anything that you want to discuss from these injuries this year?
No, it's been an amazing rundown. I mean, I feel like a lot of high profile guys going out early. Leading theory is preseason, long game, preseason getting short and then running the long schedule. I don't think guys are getting into shape as quick. And again, same thing with Amon-Ra. You target a guy 17, 18, 21 times in a game, he's going to get his butt kicked. And yep, that's what's going to happen. So I do have a question for you on T. Higgins is how many times is he going to be projected 14 points in your flex spot only to have to be pulled out for someone else?
I hope this is the last week.
This is 3 in a row. This is 3 in a row.
Yeah.
This will be 3 in a row that it's happened.
But
he's
hey,
gonna play.
I'm a little bit torn on it. I mean, I like T. Higgins' talent. I don't like that he gets hurt. He reminds me of Waddle in so many ways. But if he, and I actually didn't look before we started recording, if he practices in full multiple times this week, he's going to be in. If he is limited at all, I'm going to pull him out one more time because I don't know that I'm going to take that risk. So if he's full participant tomorrow and Friday, he'll be in my lineup. But if not, I don't know that I can do that. I certainly don't. I don't think they should, and I hope they don't rush him back. T. Higgins is free agent after this year, so he's looking for that contract. I don't think he wants to do something stupid. You know what I mean? But he does need to get out there and show what he can do.
Burrow's broken. The longer it takes you guys to realize, the better for all of us.
They always start slow, man.
What are you talking about? He was like QB1 last year.
All right, Bradshaw. So take us through our week 2 recap.
So most of my more clear and unfiltered thoughts are in the commissioner's note, and I'll thank you to take up any entertainment you'd like from that. But here today, I'd like to give some props. I think Trump dumpster and bye week being 2-0 after two of the lowest scoring winning point totals of the week. Again, not to throw shade, a win's a win, but like we talked about last week, these are the matchups you have to win to do good here. So both teams doing well, albeit they haven't peaked yet, and that's the scary part because once they get it together, well, we know Josh will get it together. I don't know if the old dumpster will get it together. Man of
Second place
Blue,
incoming, Josh. Second place, baby.
yeah, he almost always wins. He almost wins.
Yes.
Very good. Lumen, Man of Blue. I sat confidently in this chair last week and picked this that was going to happen despite the projections. Wes was all about the chalk, but I believed in you, buddy. I do need you to take a knee this week, though. I need you to really regress, maybe drop 100 points. Let me get over that no win total. And then I'm pretty much not going to congratulate anyone else because the Gunther, Pete, and Your Majesty here are the other winners last week. So I will say dropping 191 is pretty impressive. Not so much when it's 260 over 2 weeks. And I think this is the tiebreaker week. So we're going to really see what you're made of. No pressure.
Yeah, of course I don't want to lose, but if I score, 140 and I lose, I will be a whole lot more confident in my team. This is not a ha ha ha, I told you so by any stretch of the imagination. But you did ask me if I was concerned about Marvin Harrison, and I gave you a very confident no.
Whoa,
And
you're right here. You
no.
told me I'm right here. Watch the video. We have evidence. I'm right here with him. You weren't like, I'm confident. I'm right here. Now, you did say you're confident he'd get more than one catch. So I'll give you that.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
I had recover for Amon Ra. MHJ.
I'm right here. I don't know. I can't give you an up or down. I think you're jumping to conclusions there, brother. It's week 1. It's 1 week.
Yeah. Did you see that game?
Unfortunately, I did. Yeah, I watched majority of it. The overcorrection was way more than I expected. And he could have had a much bigger day. 2 more targets in the red zone or in the end zone. That's really awesome. But when I say he'll come back down to earth, hopefully his floor will be coming sometime soon, possibly this week. And I'm cool with that being his ceiling. Absolutely.
What to watch for? What are you looking at this week?
So 2 things I'm looking at this week. I really want to see again Deontay Johnson, but I want to see what Andy Dalton's going to do with the Panthers. I am curious to see if they are an NFL team again. And league related, I want to see if McCorm Storm is going to stop the butt kicker train. I want to see if he can take the old number 1 team down.
I think he's got what it takes, but we'll get to the picks later. 2 things. I don't really have a lot of league related things. I do have a personal homer pick. I'm interested to see what happens with the Cleveland wide receivers now that the offense got a win, eked it out. They looked really good playing together in Jacksonville. Defense won the game, but offense did show some promise. And I know last week you were giving Kirk Cousins and Aaron Rodgers a bunch of leeway due to their rust, but I noticed you didn't extend Deshaun Watson the same courtesy, and I just wonder what's different about Deshaun Watson compared to Aaron Rodgers. Cousins.
Way to paint a picture.
We don't need to go into those specific details. And then similarly, Green Bay's wide receiver room, like I said, they looked good against Philly. I didn't watch the game. They were impressive with a backup quarterback against a fairly decent defense in Indy. And then Christian Watson got like nothing, right? So who is the Green Bay wide receiver? Jaden Reed's been killing it. That guy's electric, but he's more of a gadget. So it'll be interesting to see who from that room comes out. And I think you can get most Green Bay wide receivers off the waiver wire right now, besides Reed.
All right, so let's go ahead and jump into our league picks. All right. So we're going to save the best for last, obviously. The Devil Who Is White versus JLK. Bradshaw, who you got in this one?
Hot take in this matchup, CD Lamb outscores the rest of Justin's team combined. Um, I have no foundation for picking it. I just feel White Devil gets the upset. Just feel it. His squad is trash. We all know it. I think he gets it done through some variance this week.
So much coincidence there. And you obviously did your homework knowing that White Devil is the underdog. White Devil is projected to lose 110 to 121. And I am actually with you on this one. Any other given week, I do like JOK's team. But Joe Burrow against Washington, that's pretty much all I need to see. You're not a believer in the Bengals. I think they're fine, or at least going to be fine. I expect some big things out of Cincinnati. They may not happen, but I still pick White Devil Billy as the underdog taking this one down. In the next matchup, we got a girl with no name, Christy, against old bye week, Josh. Who you got in this one?
I think Christy took the boner last week, and she also lost at fantasy football because of poor decisions she made. This week, Christy plays the right players. Josh does not. Christy wins.
Christy wins. Uh, we are different on this one. I'm taking Josh in this one, the big old 2-0. I think he goes 3-0. And as it sits right now, he is the underdog. 109 to 112. Christie is projected to win, but I'm taking Josh in this one. To our next matchup, Trump Dumpster versus Mega Smegma. What are your thoughts on this one?
Again, how Houston goes, so goes White Devil Billy. I think Minnesota's defense is legit. I do like a Tank Dell game here, playing on the AstroTurf, so there's my long shot. But butthurt without AJ Brown, his number one pick, it's too much to overcome. I think Trump Dumpster getting K-Bone back and her receiving course, she gets it done. Trump Dumpster goes to 3-0.
And I second that notion. I'm taking the old Trump Dumpster this week as well for the upset. Sorry there, Mega. Trump takes it down. It goes to you, Kamala. Trump's going to win. All right.
Excuse me. It's Kamala.
Kamala. How about that? How about that?
It's not
All right.
Kamala with a K.
Our next matchup, we'll go ahead and go to myself, the old legendary legend, versus Pete Puff. What you thinking here, sir?
Pete, ravaged by injuries. Happens to be the champ's luck, of course. Although someone last year got ravaged by injuries, and how did you end up doing once you lost Justin Herbert and Keenan Allen and Jalen Waddle? And did you do okay last year? Help me remember.
I did all right. When I lost Justin Herbert, I picked up Flacco, but I didn't use Flacco late in the playoffs. I think I picked up a guy by the name of Tyrod Taylor. Um, I don't know if the league might have heard of him, but Tyrod Taylor, and I don't even remember who I had in for Keenan Allen. That's something else. But to answer your question, won a championship. So anyway, let's go.
Anyway, what are we talking about? Oh yeah, Pete, ravaged by injuries, too much to overcome. Champster wins, but he misses projections this week.
Misses projections. Yowzers. Two people that I project on my team to not hit projection, and that's going to be J.K. Dobbins against Pittsburgh's defense. And I think Pitts is going to come up short again. I am really starting to worry about that pick there. But I think the rest of my team picks it up and does well. I'm taking myself as well. On to the next. Dad Shaw, the Bradshaw against the man of Lou.
So there are no losers in this matchup because even when Lumen beats me, I'm still happy. And I can't say that honestly about anyone else in the league, including my own wife and mother of my children. But this week, I obviously AK regresses. That's not a hot take. That's not even worth saying out loud, but I think that's what propelled him last week. I think Cleveland defense and Brandon Ayuk coming home are enough to get me across the finish line for my first W. I pick me.
Not so fast. With the rushing of the Kansas City Chiefs going down, again, as I said earlier in the video, I do think that Kansas City is going to be throwing it more. So once again, I'm blaming it on the quarterback. Patrick Mahomes is projected 27 points. I think he's going to get that just fine. I see a lot of throwing in this game. Atlanta's probably going to have the ball longer because Bijan is going to be running more than Kansas City is. So, unfortunately, I got the Man of Lou getting this one again. But if you take it down, congratulations. I just think Lumen's going to get you. All right. Now on to our game of the week. Reason why this is the game of the week is because they're the two highest projected teams. Get your Butker back in the kitchen, or Hunter, versus old McCorm Storm, the devil that beat me in week 1. But here it is. Who you got?
That's not why the league, this is the best matchup. This is the best matchup because everybody's rooting against Hunter. Nobody wants to see the number 1 team win. So it's going to be a common theme as long as that train's rolling. But no, it does happen to be the highest projected, as you mentioned. My notes say Goff gets right, Mikey's receivers come to play, Cunt Dumpster's luck runs out, Mikey wins.
I agree. I am also taking Mike, who is projected to win. I do believe once again in Burrow. Now I'm not going to say that Jared Goff is going to win it for Mike here in this one. But I am thinking Chase should have a pretty great game against Washington, who is attached to Burrow in the previous game we were just talking about. So I got Mikey taking this one down. I like that you shake your head no. I like the Bengals. I think they're going to be a fine offense. So that's all of your picks for this week. Good luck, everybody, except for who's playing me this week? Pete Puff. I never wish him good luck. But good luck, everybody else. And as we sign off here, Bradshaw, do you have anything else? You good?
One more thing.
Yeah.
If Cincinnati does not show out against Washington on a primetime game, are you still going to be a believer?
Probably not. Probably not.
We'll have something to talk about next week.
We definitely will. And on that Cincinnati note, we're going to end this video, ladies and gentlemen, with a short clip of the Bengals' new $1.2 billion stadium. So enjoy. We'll see you next week.
Who holds the key for the gateway to the city? The fulcrum from Fountain Square to the Tall Stacks. The pivot point that unlocks every ounce of potential along the river. The beating heart of our hometown, where we show our stripes in every bite, step, smile, and roar. First down, touchdown, get down. This is a cavalcade of memories made. From the jungle to the mighty Ohio, thanks to new green spaces and connections to the banks and downtown, complete connectivity for the city, with Bengals Promenade for enhanced tailgating on game day and public use year-round. This is where Paul Brown Way becomes a new icon, syncing all the parks around all them Tigers training. Easier and safer stadium access, premium seating and breakthrough views at every level. This is groundbreaking growth, redefining the way you watch your Bengals, all designed to enhance the way they build for battle. The north end zone, now the envy of the league. The south end zone, raised and expanded to meet your expectations for this team. 365 event spaces, a championship experience for the 513. This is a place 56 years in the making, and we're still just getting started. Creating a game day extravaganza for all ages, one that pays homage to rich traditions while raising the bar for an entire region. So I'll ask one more time, who holds the key for the gateway to the city? every single one of us. When it comes right down to it, you. The new Paycor Stadium, made for Cincinnati to roar.